Breath. Infinite.
Taz wanted. This game holds a very special place in my heart. You see, back when I was in kindergarten, and whenever I wasn't eating Play-Doh like it was a free Michelin star meal, yeah, you kids nowadays are missing out. I used to watch a lot of cartoons for the CDs the kindergarten had. There weren't a lot, but they had a plethora of Looney Tunes stuff, and I remember liking Taz very much. So much so that when we got our first family computer all the way back in 2011, I looked for specifically Taz content online. Somehow, some way, that led me to discovering the game, and after begging my parents to get it, I booted it up, and that's how Taz Wanted became the first game I ever played. I was obsessed with the game and the character himself, and I played it so much that the logo got burned into my retinas, etched into my eyes for eternity, never to disappear as Taz slightly haunts my vision. So, to honor the first game I ever played, I decided to go back to it 14 years later to get every achievement the game has to offer. 14 years later. I was 5 when I played this. Dear God. I decided to play this because I hit 1,000 subscribers. I wanted to create a milestone video. Whoops! Oh, and if you're new here, the way I'm able to get these achievements is via the site RetroAchievements. It lets you have an achievement hunting experience in your favorite retro games. As for Taz Wanted specifically, the achievement set has a whopping total of 1... So we start the game up, and the first thing we see is Taz making love to the camera. Yep, I already saw enough. Goodbye guys, video's over. I usually don't talk about the menu screen of all things, like what the fuck do I even say? Wow, look at Taz, standing still, and probably wishing he would jump in that water and suffocate. But if we go to the game options section, you'll see a difficulty selection. Oh, sorry, a difficulty selection. Firstly, I never knew that this even existed. And secondly, I am telling you this because this is actually important for the achievements. You see, in order to master the set, you need to 100% every single level at expert difficult. I'm already tired of this pun, dog. I'll just be calling it difficulty. And I definitely didn't forget to change it once I started the game. Nope. Choose your icon. Grandmother. Ugh. You're asking for my name too? Fine. My name is Clay. So the story of the game goes like this. You have Taz, and you have a woman. Taz tries to kill the woman because he realized that he has to pay child support. And then there's a huge cloud that appears over them, and then he's arrested, and you're plopped into the first hub world of the game. Taz Wanted is your standard 2D platformer. You can run, you can jump, and you can even get wet. You can also, give the air your seed, but what differentiates this game from the other platformers is that you can speed. It's the main mechanic of the game, and it's really fun to spin around the stages once you get the hang of it, and it totally won't be the end of me because of this. Also, because you're a convicted felon and wanted, there are wanted posters and signs that are scattered throughout each stage that you have to destroy. And again, because you're wanted, you have cops hauling on your ass. Well, not really cops, they're catchers, but still, they're your #1 enemy in this game, as they can capture you and make you lose valuable progress. To counteract and actually defeat them, you don't spin at them, and you don't spit and yell to cause trauma to the catchers. Instead, you go to the shop so you can cosplay as Taz's persona. Fun fact, this actually gives us our first achievement, Taz, with your nose so bright, for just using the Acme booth. Let's go, dude. Our first achievement, only 1 out of 115. Yeah! To go back to the uniform changing mechanic, this is actually how you defeat the catchers. There's a different costume for each level, and they all function a little bit differently. As for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Glutton, you charge at the catchers like a pit bull who just saw a 7-year-old. And...
There he is.
oh, I think it's a tad bit broken. Yeah, to successfully beat the catchers, you have to be out of their line of sight and behind them, which in this tutorial here isn't really the case. But thankfully, with defeating the catcher in the hub world, we get our second achievement. Revenge is sweet. With the tutorial finished, this means we can move on to the first level of the game, ZOONEY. I would have read every page of the tutorial as a meme, because I love tagging my average view duration, but, looks like the books were a little bit shy. Like I mentioned, the main goal of each level is to destroy all of the 7 wanted posters. But to actually 100% the stage, you need to obtain the destruction bonus, find the hidden golden Sam statue, and eat 100 sandwiches. For the destruction bonus, you just need to destroy a certain amount of objects in the level, along with the sandwiches. They're scattered everywhere, and you'll most likely meet the requirement naturally as you explore the stage. As for the hidden golden Sam statue, I know it literally has hidden in the name, but they're not that hard to find at all. That surprised me as well. Throughout my entire playthrough, I never had to use a guide to find these. The problem is, I am not playing the game on expert difficulty, meaning that literally everything instead of the golden Sam statue is not accounted towards the achievement progress. And again, I didn't know this, because I legit had no idea what even the difference was between the difficulties. I thought the catchers were just harder to defeat. Oh, and speaking of them, guess what? You have achievements for defeating the catchers as well. You have 2 types of catcher achievements. The first one is where you just have to defeat them all, while the other you have to do it without getting caught. Okay, now that you know how the game works, let's move on to how the game works, because I am still not done explaining. This game also has a bounty system. When you destroy the wanted posters, find the golden statue, and obtain the destruction bonus, your bounty goes up. And when you get caught, your bounty goes down. On a casual playthrough, this has no significant value to the player, and can be easily ignored since it literally doesn't affect the gameplay in any sort of way. But for me, getting caught is a nightmare that makes me want to rip my own spinal cord and put it back in. This is because to master the set, you have to 100% every level while getting the maximum bounty, and that means 100%ing the level without getting caught. Oh, and you also have to 100% the entire game without getting caught. Yep, I was actually thinking about beating the game normally, then attempt these achievements, but for the first time ever, my frontal cortex was actually developed and decided to do all of these in one run, because my ass isn't replaying the same 10-hour game twice. Another reason is this. You see how the number 1 most wanted achievement is missable? Well, that's because if you get caught and exit the level, your progress actually saves, and there's no way for you to reset the bounty if that happens. So the strategy is to literally reset the console itself, so that way autosave doesn't fuck you over. I learned that the hard way. Jesus Christ, I can't believe I've spent 1 page talking about how the game works, and I'm still not done. I feel like I'm explaining how a paradox game works, not a game about a stinky extinct rodent. The main difference between the 3 difficulties, more so the difference between the standard and the expert difficulties, is this. For standard, you have tutorials and arrows that show you where you have to go, in case you have no object permanence. There are 120 achievements in the level, and you have to destroy 50% of the objects for the destruction bonus. And you probably guessed it, for expert you have no tutorial, you have exactly 100 sandwiches, and you have to break every object for the destruction bonus. There's also like a difference on how long the items last, but that. You have to destroy every single object in a level. This doesn't sound hard, but you'll soon realize that the difficulty in 100%ing the stages isn't in the sandwiches or beating the level without getting caught. It's the fact that you'll be searching for the last few objects to destroy, not realizing that you've spent like 20 minutes looping throughout the level and wanting to send a really nice letter to the developers because you're at 99%. But enough ranting, let's actually get started with the level. Because of the fact that I played on the standard difficulty on accident, I'm gonna talk about the normal catcher achievement first, because yes, the one without getting caught has to be done on expert. And honestly, this took a stupidly long amount of time. First off, the costume for this level turns Taz into a skater. Wow, I didn't know that he starred in Tony Hawk's Roadkill. Secondly, something I didn't mention earlier, and probably one of the worst mechanics in the game, when you defeat a catcher, Taz thinks it's a good idea to undress himself, meaning that every single time you defeat one, you have to go back to the Acme booth. Why? It's tedious, especially because this level has 6 catchers present. Is Taz trying to dispose of the evidence because he technically murdered someone? That doesn't make any sense. He has 2 brain cells that are fighting for 3rd place. He can't plan to save his life. Anyway, the reason as to why I got caught so many times here was because I was really stupid. I mean, Christ, you were directly in his line of sight. What were you thinking was gonna happen? That he would give you a kiss on the tip and put you to bed? Or the fact that while trying to defeat one of the catchers, I charged into a dynamite and was unable to do anything as he rushed to me like this is dependent on his paycheck or something. But after those 2 stupid attempts, I managed to get cage-free ZOONEY. This is also when I realized that I wasn't playing on expert difficulty, and once I changed it and went back to the level, the progress hadn't reset, meaning that I had to start from a fresh save file. So with 0 motivation, 0 bitches, and 7 arrest warrants, I decided to do that later and tackle the minigame first and its respective achievement. Oh yeah, once you collect every sandwich, you unlock a minigame. It's actually the same for each hub world. 2 of the minigames are time trials, while the third one you have to break a certain amount of boxes. To be honest, they're nothing too special and quite short, and can be completed in your first attempt if you don't have the dexterity of a chimpanzee. But you see, you have 2 achievements for each minigame. The first one you just have to beat it normally, but the other one has a certain requirement to get it. Let's take the first minigame for example. You have to beat it with at least 12 seconds on the clock. Oh yeah, every minigame starts at a certain time and ticks down, not the other way around. And sure, on my first attempt I had 7 seconds left on the clock, meaning I had to take a different route. Not an issue, of course, makes sense. It should be at least a little bit challenging, right? But take a look at this. I will conveniently zoom in one of my really good attempts. This seems like a really good pace. Yeah, cutting corners, taking a different and faster route. I am practically guaranteed the achievement. Well, nope. I was 13 milliseconds behind the required time. That's the biggest gripe I have with these minigame achievements. The requirements are kinda too much. To be honest, I don't mind strict achievements, but I just didn't know what I was doing wrong. I took the same route as the speedrun tutorial and had no clue where I was losing time. Was it because I accidentally sniffed this white rock, which caused me to lose 3 picoseconds, thus not getting the achievement? Tell me, Taz! Tell me!
Taz ready. Goody.
Oh yeah, about the speedrun tutorial, these videos make me believe that the achievement developer took their time and just rounded it up, because CycloneFN, full name, Cyclone Feral Noises, the speedrunner who actually made these videos, got a 12.3. Yeah. By the way, shout out to them, as they not only made a video showcasing the fastest way to beat each and every single minigame, but were also speedrunning every level on Expert. These videos genuinely helped me so much for the set, and without them, I'm not sure I would have mastered the game as fast as I did. This achievement thankfully took me around 15 minutes. But again, I'll just compare this one to the 11.87 I got earlier. I genuinely have no clue what I did right this time. Now, after finally selecting the Expert difficulty, it's time to create a new save file. So hello there, I'm Fook. Yeah, no, I think the icon matches the name quite well. I decided to go for the ZOONEY assassin just to get it out of the way. And how did that go? Well, I actually got it on my first try. Never mind, I got it on my second. Jesus Christ, how did I even alert him? What? I got the achievement on my third try. I just didn't know the right time to attack the catchers, so it ended up in a lot of that. I'm still salty about this. But don't worry, for the first time in Mashtempo history, these achievements won't be a problem. Surprisingly. Wait, what? I can now actually move on to talking about the stage? Holy shit. Since ZOONEY is the first level of the game, it's of course very straightforward. The wanted signs aren't out of the way and are located directly on the paths you take, like the very first sign, which is literally right next to where you spawn. Peak game design. Oh yeah, once you enter a level, Tweety will actually tell you where they're located, with some really great hints. See if you can solve this puzzle, Mr. Putty Taz. It's fantastic. Look out for this rickety tower. The solution is elementary. And my favorite, you shouldn't have done that. Haha, I drowned. But yeah, the wanted posters here are pretty straightforward. For one, you just jump on a couple of logs and you're there. And above it, you have another sign in the form of a cork? What? How does this even bring attention towards Taz? It's literally in a tree. Only by destroying it does it actually draw attention, since it flies off into the stratosphere at 5 miles an hour. Tell me, Yosemite Samuel, are you stupid? But yeah, if you drop down from the tree stump, you have one where you literally just pin into it. And right to the spawn, there's a tower that you can destroy by breaking its legs. It's actually ahead of the despicable catcher. Like, no, really think about it. This dude ended more of my runs than any other catcher in the game. Let that sink in. Actually, no, don't. Get out. Left of the spawn is that area with the van Twitty mentioned earlier. You reach it by swinging off of these monkeys or being a monkey yourself and climbing up the trees. And after destroying the van, you only have one sign left. A beehive that's only accessible to bears. Again, Sam, I'm not sure how you're gonna attract attention to tasks like this, but Godspeed. With the signs collected, it's now time to move on to everything else. The sandwiches weren't hard at all to collect, as like I said, they're right on the path you take. But you have these two where you have to collect them by spinning while you're idle, then moving forward, which causes tasks to launch forward. But besides that, yeah, no, it was pretty easy. As for the golden Sam statue, I didn't go the intended way, but I used a perp item to destroy this door to collect it. Which, by the way, this is used to go back once you collect the statue. You might be confused as to what the f did I even say, but you have items that have special effects, like burping. I know, revolutionary gameplay mechanic, but I couldn't have been bothered to mention it since I was already yapping enough about the mechanics of a 20-year-old children's game. The destruction bonus, as I figured, was the biggest problem here. I spent literally 20 minutes. I am not joking. 20 minutes trying to find the last 1% of the objects. And before giving up, I looked up a walkthrough and... well, thank you, game developers. With 100%ing the level, I got Hidden Treasure of Zooney Tunes, Fine Cuisine of Zooney Tunes, Zooney Tunes Most Wanted, the Zooney Tunes Varmint, and Elephant Abolitionist. I know, it's a really small Zooney Tunes amount of Zooney Tunes achievements. There's actually one more that's missable, and it's no monkeying around. For destroying the wanted sign on the van without swinging on the monkeys nor bouncing on the tires. I was actually stuck, trying to figure out what to do with this one, as I thought it was legit impossible. But then I remembered. The game is a little bit broken. Yeah, no, don't worry, this won't be the first time I abuse the game's geometry. With getting this achievement, this means I can move on to Looney Lagoon, which yes, I am aware that it's the third level in order, but that's the order I played when I was a kid. I'm trying to fill in a childhood void here, so can you give me a break? Looney Lagoon is special because... it's set in a lagoon. Again, this level is nothing too special. It's in the first hub world after all, but you do have a new power-up, where Taz cosplays as my dad. No, seriously, where is he? I have milk in the fridge. If you couldn't tell already, it makes you invisible. The Acme move here turns Taz into a surfer bro, who uses his board that's located in his stomach. A safe and reliable place to store your items. Get it only now for $49.99 to beat the shit out of people. You might think that getting the capture achievement is gonna be hard, since this is a short-range costume, and I didn't even do well with long range. But since you have an item that literally makes you invisible and safe from any threat, this turns the achievement into a giant cakewalk. There's even 4 catchers, 2 less than the previous level, so yeah, getting the catcher achievement was not an issue at all, and it was the first thing I did 7 minutes into the level. As for the first wanted sign I destroyed, it was the one located on the hill of the lagoon, accessible via turning Taz into a bouncy ball and sending him to a diving board that's located nowhere near the ocean, making me worry about the intentions behind the engineer who designed this. Fun fact, the vinyl player is going to be a recurring enemy, if you can even call it that, throughout some levels. If you're in its rage, you can't do anything but walk, as Taz is mesmerized by absolutely nothing. No, really. Most of the time, no music plays whatsoever. You destroy it by burping really loudly, by the way. The next sign I destroyed was on this washing machine that you get to by just jumping on it. Like I said, peak game design. The next sign I went to functions exactly as the first one. You have to get out of the vinyl player's range to destroy the sign with your nasty ass burp. Please, Taz, at least have some manners, young man. Young... Tasmanian devil. Here I actually found the secret to collecting the golden Sam statue. Well, not really a secret, as the path is clearly visible, but it leads you to the switch that opens the chest where the statue is hidden, meaning you just have to jump to it to collect it without any issues. Make it all the way... okay, with, minimal issues. Along the way, I accidentally found out by complete accident that you can use these changing rooms to teleport you to a completely new place in the level, and one teleports you to a switch that's used to destroy a nearby sign. Well, that could have been useful. I could have prevented Taz from getting his Tasmanian devil out in public. Like Christ, imagine the children. Oh, yeah, if you wonder what these spinners do, they make these blue boxes fall asleep. These things are the spawn of the Tasmanian devil, as if you approach them while they're awake, you get a nice pounding to your hindquarters. But after destroying the box, simply spin into a button a couple of times and the wanted sign is yours. For the next sign, I am not sure if I was doing it incorrectly, or it just requires you to be really precise, but you activate the spinner and go all the way to this box guy to destroy it, which is such a long distance that the spinner's timer almost runs out. After that, simply climb up the watchtower and cause millions of dollars of property damage. Good job, taxpayer. If you go right to the part where the washing machine is, there's a secret hole that if you go through, it'll take you to a cannon, and you'll be launched directly into the pirate ship, which is also a wanted poster. You know what? Calling these posters now is getting a little bit too far-fetched. Oh, and with the ship destroyed, I actually got the destruction bonus for the level, meaning I didn't need to rip my hair out for 20 minutes, only for the last objects to be windows at the beginning of the level. I am definitely still not salty about this. As for the last sign, it's accessible through these tubes that you slide through. It's actually located in a giant sink. You have to drain it first by making a hole, then you're free to destroy the sign. Again, Yosemite Sam, I am not sure how putting a wanted sign in a sink is gonna bring attention towards Taz, but hey, I am sure that there's nothing but a flea underneath that hat of yours. This means that I am only missing the 100 sandwiches, and I needed 6 of them, which is honestly a big number since I explored every nook and cranny the level had offered. First off, one of the sandwiches is located here. Look at this shit, dude. What do you mean? A 7-year-old was supposed to find this out by themselves, by the way. For the next 4, they're located on the top of the shack where the inflatable sign was. I just forgot to go up there. Bravo me. And the last one was located near the beginning of the level. I just didn't see it. Well, I am thankful that this didn't take a long time. With this, I 100%ed the stage and got the last achievement for Looney Lagoon. Well, at least the level part of Looney Lagoon. While I'm here, the cutscenes that play at the end of each level is Taz getting an item that's needed to open up the boss fight. The first level, it's an elephant, and for this one, it's a raft. I am mentioning this because you need to beat all 3 levels to get to the boss, but it doesn't stop you from trying. It really doesn't, okay? Now we're on to the minigame. The minigame. You have to destroy 50 crates in 60 seconds. Not that much of an issue. Yeah. Wanna know how many you need to break for the achievement? 100. Double the amount. And again, I'll conveniently zoom in on a really great attempt. You would think, oh wow, okay, you're taking the optimal route and breaking a lot of crates. You'll for sure get this. 97! Dear God, I never expected to struggle this much for the achievement. This achievement quickly made me realize why there are, at the time of playing this game, only 24 masteries of the set. You need to master the movement and know the optimal route. Otherwise, you can use the same exact board Taz uses to give yourself a lobotomy, because your ass ain't breaking 100 crates in time. The thing is, there is no official guide or video showing you how to break the 100 crates in a timely manner. And making a route yourself is difficult because, as you saw with the last clip, I have no clue if I even took the right path. Was there a way to optimize this? Was there a way to go just a little bit faster and break the 3 remaining crates? I had no idea. And thankfully, under the comments of the minigame leaderboard of all places, a user by the name of Echo Warrior 100 shared their attempt of breaking a whopping 115 crates with overly dramatic music. I didn't know that breaking boxes would be this epic. By the way, this is still the highest score at RetroAchievements. Great. I had the strategy down, but here's the thing. This minigame wasn't meant to be rushed this fast. I can't tell you how many times I fell down this vomit green pipe, or how many times I just straight up fell in the water. Or in the area after this. You need to be really careful when speeding through here, since one wrong move and whoops! There goes another attempt in the trash, and there goes a piece of your sanity. The strategy I used is a bit similar to what the guy does in the video, and it goes something like this. Once the minigame starts, I would epically press my costume attack button to unleash fury upon the first batch of crates. Then, I would epically make my way towards the second section of the minigame and destroy some more crates, epically, of course. Then I would epically use the first sponge to land in the water, which respawns you at the next section, which is actually faster than jumping on the sponges normally. Then as I respawn, I would move up a little bit, and with complete and utter chaos, unleash my epicness by using my board to clear a good chunk of the crate. crates, epically, of course. Then I would make my way towards the red pipe and awesomely and epically destroy as many crates as I could there. And once I made my way out of the pipe, I would epically destroy most of the crates and use the cannon and pray to God to make it to 100 crates, all while being epic, cool, awesome, swag, and awesome. Epically. The funny thing is, even with the strategy down, you still need to be really precise. Like on one of my attempts, where I did literally everything I said in whatever the that explanation was, and ended up at 99 destroyed crates. Hello, is this the police? Because I'd like to report a robbery! But yeah, after 36 minutes, which is almost 10 minutes less than the time it took me to 100% Looney Lagoon, I finally managed to break 100 crates and get the achievement. With the minigame finished, we can now move on to the last level in Yosemite Zoo, Iceberg. I wonder if this will be a winter-themed level. Oh wow, who would have known? Of course, the costume in the stage is Taz with a snowboard that can shoot out snowballs with it. And because this is one of the few long-range costumes in the game where you don't propel your entire body into a catcher's net and actually stay stationary as Taz shoots the snowball, you can guess that getting the catcher achievement was pretty easy as well. Well, that was a bad example since he almost caught me, but it was still pretty easy, trust me. And with how the snowball's physics work, you can end up getting some pretty sick trick shots. Yep. Nice. There's also an extra achievement for this type of costume, Tasmanian Sniper. We have to defeat a zookeeper from a great distance. For all I know, this could be either 10 meters or 314.2 kilometers. But thankfully, the achievement icon actually displays when you're at the right distance, so even getting that wasn't an issue either. The first wanted poster that I destroyed was really close to the spawn, where, because there is ice, wow, ice physics in a winter level, who would have known that as well? You can't spin unless you want to make Taz look really disappointed. To destroy it, you have to do what Taz knows best, cosplay an average Bosnian teenager, be a filthy animal. The second wanted poster is right up ahead where the first one is, and you literally just have to spin into it. Thank you for watching my in-depth analysis on the wanted poster. Tune in next time where I talk in detail about dissecting Taz's testicles. The next sign is on the polar opposite. Get it? Of the first two signs. Just spin into the first dial and watch the cable car completely shit itself as it gets launched to the stratosphere. For the fourth wanted poster, you first have to use the igloo to jump to the electrical box to destroy it. Otherwise, he'll get electrocuted, which causes him to fix his hair, even though he's wearing a beanie. After that, simply enter the electrocuted igloo to destroy the wanted sign. The fifth wanted poster is right next to the fourth one, where you go invisible and just destroy it. Again, exemplary game design, the very pinnacle of interactive craftsmanship. Truly, we are in the presence of ludological brilliance. The next wanted poster makes you enter in a rocket ship, which is used to get you to this van. This feels very familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Whatever, I might just be going crazy. By the way, I know it's a really big stretch to call them wanted posters, but what do you want me to call them? Wanted vans? Trees? No wonder the game's called Taz Wanted. Bro's even wanted in an igloo. Yes, that was my very bad attempt to transition to the next wanted sign without it sounding repetitive. The Golden Sam statue is here too. Well, not really. If you spin to the top of the igloo and destroy this electrical box, a fridge will open. And by spinning the dial, a submarine of all things will arise. If you manage to reach it, the statue will be yours. Finally, I can now reenact a famous Serbian president jump-scaring a couple by coming out of the fridge. I am not joking, by the way, this was an actual ad. This man is hiding in your fridges now. I would talk about how hard the destruction bonus was for the stage, as yes, I was missing a few objects in the level. By a few objects, I mean only one, but that doesn't even bring justice to how infuriating it was. I spent probably around 10 minutes looking for it, and it got me nowhere. Look at this, 99%! 99%! Either this was the most particularly well-hidden object in the game, or I have an eyesight of a bat. Wait, that actually kind of makes sense. And I'll let you come to the conclusion yourself, as this is the last object I had to destroy. Okay.
Don't move.
You see this. 46 minutes and 54 seconds. The recording right now is 35 minutes. So that means I've spent 10 minutes going around in circles.
Have your
You know what? Yeah, I think the whole eyesight of a bad thing kinda checks out now. By the way, just a personal thank you to the developers for hiding a dynamite in here of all places. Can't collect my sandwiches in peace, smug. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat the minigame, as yes, this one has a hard achievement as well. I have to beat this with 20 seconds or more left on the clock, by the way. But honestly, this minigame achievement was more on the easier side, as all you have to do is take the fastest intended path and not make mistakes, which after the fiasco in the ZOONEY minigame is not that hard at all, and I legit got it in around 7 minutes of total playtime. With the 3 levels completed, this means we can move on to the boss, and we get to it by charging straight into the elephant! You fight against Gossamer of all people, and oh, holy shit. You're literally playing Pong with a elephant. Why is the music for this fight ska punk? And yes, I said Pong. You're playing Pong with an elephant. You have to scare it 3 times to win. And what do you know? If you don't let Gossamer score, you get the achievement Pong Professional. This boss isn't hard whatsoever, even if the elephant's movement speed is much faster at the start. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this too. The bosses get tougher based on which difficulty you choose. I mean, no shit, it makes sense. But I thought I'd mention this just in case, since, yeah, the only thing that's increased here is the movement speed of the elephant when you begin the boss fight. And according to the guide on speedrun.com, it's 10 scares more compared to standard mode. I mean, what's there to talk about? You wait for the elephant to approach you, press square, and repeat that until you win the minigame. I got the POG Professional achievement on my first try. After defeating Gossamer, heavy quotation marks on that, he just gets mad and gives up. Sam escapes with your Whiffy, and you follow him to the next area of the game, San Francisco. I am not even gonna mention the pun, I am tired of making bad jokes. 3 new levels and 3 new minigames that I definitely won't lose my shit over. I actually played the levels here in the right order, meaning that we're starting with SAMSONIAN Museum. And to be honest, I kinda don't have anything interesting to say about this one. If you've got the brain of an amoeba and still couldn't tell from the name or the gameplay, you're in a museum, so it's not that visually interesting either. Along with the fact that this level has by far the worst spin theme ever. It just made me want to finish this level as soon as possible. About that, when you spin, a metal rendition of the level's track plays, which is a pretty neat addition, but for SAMSONIAN Museum, it felt like my ears were assaulted by a dying kazoo. I didn't like it whatsoever. Although the security guards here are very... Oh my, can you at least get a room? Back to the level itself, it actually has exactly 100 objects and only 1 catcher, making this the easiest level to attain the destruction bonus and the catcher achievements. Well, not really the latter, because, I didn't know that he was there. :3. Look, I could walk you through how to destroy all 7 wanted signs like I've been doing this whole time, but this level was so visually bland and painfully mid that my brain sort of autopiloted through it. Trust me, they're there. Just spit on some stuff, maybe cry a little bit because you fell down the checkerboard like 2 times, and you'll get it done. Like, no, seriously, I think you probably realized yourself that these wanted signs are just, go to this part of the level and destroy it! At this point, I am beginning to sound like a broken record. That only plays the SAMSONIAN Museum spin theme. I think it's also due to the fact that besides that one singular achievement in ZOONEY, there are no unique side achievements at all, which makes it really hard to entertain people when retelling Great Expectations is more interesting than this. Although, I am gonna mention this particular wanted side, you actually have to erase it with this floor polisher, which, if you didn't know, polishes floors. And holy shit, this thing is by far some of the worst vehicle controls I've ever experienced. They're delayed, and it feels like you're operating a car with jet lag. It's the safest experience you can get to drunk driving. Not only are you incapable of driving the damn thing, but you'll be crashing it every time you want to turn. I'm also mentioning this because this vehicle definitely will return again and cause me pain and torment for like half an hour. Oh yeah, there are 2 Acme booths in this level, located kind of far away from the spawn. I got the costume achievement after destroying all 7 sides, fwee, and it turns Taz into a ninja. This for some reason feels kinda racy. Like, the costume blends a little too well with his fur and feels a bit off. How would I think that I wasn't meant to get to the booth like this? Although I do have to give them this. Even though there's 1 catcher, they went all in with the animation. I actually got him. This level also has the easiest Golden Sam statue. Literally just jump to the cannon here at the top floor and... There you go. The developers ran out of ideas. Just like me, trying to make it through the stage without using like 20 stimulants so you don't get bored. But yeah, with a statue collected and with a destruction bonus achieved without looking up a guide, we 100%ed Samsonian Museum and we can move on to the minigame. Well, I know the achievements are hard, but at least these minigames are pretty fun. Polish off 2 laps of the course to clean up and raise the bounty. Oh, what a great pun, am I right? Are you kidding me? Yep, I knew that this would happen. Oh wow, look at me go. Don't mind me, just doing my job. You know, keeping the floors clean. Gotta sweep, sweep, sweep. Am I right? Gotta sacrifice the person who thought this was a good idea to the blood gods. I mean, Christ. On my first attempt, I didn't even finish the minigame in time. I was dreading what the speedrun achievement was gonna ask of me. And what would you know? I was right. Because you have to beat it in 35 seconds or less. What now? Just to remind you, the timer in these minigames count from 60 seconds and downwards, not the other way around like most timers. So this achievement description first didn't make sense whatsoever. If we go with the description's logic, you need to finish the minigame between the time of 0 to 35 seconds for the achievement to pop up, which you already know this isn't the case, since these minigame achievements are the spawn of Satan. And because I finished the minigame with the time of 8.3 seconds as well, whoever programmed the floor cleaners clearly had 2 left hands. Don't worry though, your boy did some testing, and it turns out that the icon for the speedrun achievement disappears after the timer goes below 25 seconds, which means that you cannot get this achievement anymore and have to restart. So the time margin is 25 to 35 seconds. Why didn't you say that immediately in the first place? Oh, by the way, do you want to know CycloneFN's time on the tutorial video? 26.3 seconds. Multiple world record holder, by the way. So this means that I have to drive this piece of shit vehicle perfectly to get the achievement, while the entire time the Samsonian Museum spin theme plays on loop. Perfect. Just what I needed. And look, I already voiced my opinions about the cleaner's controls. I am not going to repeat myself again. And frankly, telling you how I learned to use this thing effectively is straight up impossible, because I just cannot describe it with words. And since I forgot why I did exactly, because I am writing the script a month later after playing the game, but we're not gonna mention that, okay? The most I can give you is by this comment here in the achievement's description. Best advice I can give is to lay off going toward the turns. Start making the turn, then go forward while turning in the opposite direction to course correct, and that the checkpoints have a bigger hitbox than in other minigames. But besides that, it was just pure trial and error, and torment, and despair, and emotional damage, and questioning my life choices. So with half a strategy and a sliver of sanity left in my hands, it was time to play the best Taz wanted of my life. After 35 minutes, I finally got this godforsaken achievement. Saying that I was ecstatic is an understatement. Just like with the Looney Lagoon minigame, I spent the same time getting the minigame achievement and 100%ing the level. And in this case, it legit might have been even more time, as I did some attempts I didn't record, where I was just practicing the cleaner's controls. I was glad that it was over, meaning that I could finally move on to the next stage, LOONINGDALE'S. Wow, I can't believe they made an entire level out of Westfield. Yup, looks like Sam expanded into the mall business. Guess he's trying to pay off his 401k. Unlike the previous level, the Acme booth is right next to where you spawn, and it transforms Taz into a DJ. And for his special attack, he plays the latest club music, like Skrillex. My hope will never die.
Oh! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my fucking god!
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Oh yeah, the catchers in this level are a joke too. But to be honest, killing a catcher by an aerial beat drop did get a laugh out of me. Also, wait, why do you have Yosemite Sam on your cap, Taz? What side are you even on? I knew it! Taz is a centrist! Again, the wanted signs weren't that much of an issue, and they keep getting even more absurd. Like, remember walking into your local mall and seeing a giant cuckoo clock? Tweet, I have been destroyed. Well, okay, there's this one at the top of the mall that's a bit finicky, cause if you don't destroy all the boxes in time,
How could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run.
Also, remember the time when you were a kid in a shopping mall and you encountered a room with wormholes that also magically expands, where one takes you to TNT so you can blow up a part of the mall? We all did that, right? I know I am yapping about these wanted sides, even though I said I wouldn't, but I just want to show how, even though we're almost halfway there, the signs are still just go to this part and spin it to this. Like, have they... Oh! Has Zalgo infected the game? What even happened? The Golden Sam statue, again, wasn't that hard either. You have to go to this part here near your spawn and destroy every pin, to which a room with a switch will spawn, and when you activate it, a train will turn on. Then simply jump in it and whee! Wow, slow down game, you're going to give me a heart attack. But yeah, simply wait for the train to pass the statue and that's it. Of course, the destruction bonus gave me a hard time, and I feel like it also just made fun of me. I was in this tunnel with a lot of objects and sandwiches. I collect 100 of them to get the minigame, but for the destruction bonus, 99%. And honestly, I was insanely embarrassed as the remaining objects I hadn't destroyed were at the very start of the level. You see these cash registers? Yeah, they're destructible. Wish I knew that before wandering around the level for 10 minutes. To be honest, the sandwiches were kinda hard to collect too. I had no clue how they expected me to collect these two sandwiches without me performing some kind of wizardry. I think the reason as to why this level was hard for me to 100% was because a quarter of the way I accidentally left the level, which wouldn't be an issue. Their progress should be saved, right? But nope. Every sandwich and every object was reset. What was the point of showing me the percentage if you're gonna do that? I rate this an F for why. Although the minigame is actually really easy, thank God, you reenact your childhood self by speeding through a mall with a shopping cart, rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta run all my errands. You'd think because the minigame is pretty easy, that the speedrun achievement would be easy as well. Well, yeah... You'd be correct on that. I did get it in like 8 minutes as opposed to half an hour, but this means that you actually have to play perfectly without making any errors whatsoever. You have to beat it in 45 seconds or less. Here we go again with more obscure descriptions. Also, before you start attacking me in the comments, yes, I did realize that the 45 seconds or less refers to the time that's displayed at the end of the minigame, but I realized this right after playing this minigame. Like, why suddenly change the achievement description? You have no idea how confused I was during the SAMSONIAN Museum minigame. But back on the LOONINGDALE'S minigame, you see this. You see this little slowdown I got by hitting the boxes. This single little mistake cost me the speedrun achievement. So yeah, I think this tells you how precise this is. Okay, the final level of San Francisco. The Bank of SAMERICA. It's a construction site. What? Well, I guess they're constructing a bank, and I guess that's where Sam will deposit the 401k. The Acme booth for this level turns you into a SWAT officer for some reason, and you have a gun that shoots stinky old cheese. Like, how do I even make fun of this? You're busting down Sam's operations with makeshift tear gas.
FBI, open up!
Ouch, I have been hurt. The catchers, again, are a piece of cheese, mostly because half of them are in the same place. Thank you for making at least this part easy, since this level is probably the hardest level in the game. Not because it's hard in the sense that it's difficult, but because the level is long. And because it's long, fighting the objects is way more difficult, because you have to traverse this entire ass scaffolding that I swear takes like 15 minutes to get to the top. And guess what? You have pipes at the top that send you all the way down. So because this level is a long ass back and forth, it took me over an hour to 100%. Well, one reason as to why this took so long is because I am not smart, I'll tell you that much. Oh, and because this level sports over 500 objects! Not only do you have to go up, you also have multiple paths in the form of pipes, which somehow takes you down to a higher part of the level. And... what's this? Holy shit. Oh my, this is a Taz... Oh my god, running out of ideas, are we now? Information grades. Although I never knew that Taz could bend laws of physics now. This level is also hard because of the enemies. Like, this is just straight up bullying. How am I even supposed to defend myself against this? Fun fact, I actually got to the Golden Sam statue by taking the completely wrong path. See this huge crane that moves in a loop? Yeah, I thought you had to go there, but it turns out it was a complete bellend and I wasn't supposed to be here at all. Although I somehow managed to get out, emphasis on somehow, and activate the Golden Sam statue. And to collect it, you need to traverse the pit of death with a jukebox that plays absolutely nothing. Oh, and if you're wondering, like every previous statue, it wasn't that hard to collect. The destruction bonus, well, do I even have to say that it was hard? 500 plus objects. I was bound to miss some. Miss a ton, actually. Like, come on. I spent literally 20 plus minutes looping for the stupid ass scaffolding, only for you to tell me that the planks are destructible? The thing which I walk on? This is probably breaking some kind of game design convention. I don't know which one, figure it out yourself. But I was very ecstatic to finally get the destruction bonus, because that means I could finally finish the gosh darn level and attempt the minigame. Which, oh. Without any proper build-up, because I really cannot be bothered to hide this, this minigame was the hardest achievement in the entire set. Ferocious Taz in the clouds beat up my entire family and kidnapped them, and is requesting my entire life savings if I want them to see the light of day. What kind of analogy is that? It's hard, okay? I never knew that breaking crates would be this hard. First off, the goal is to destroy 40 crates, so you think destroying 35 additional crates would be a piece of cake compared to the additional 50 on the Looney Lagoon minigame. But you see, the difference between these two is that in this minigame, most of the crates are located on the other side of the area, which takes some time to get to. And secondly, this level isn't linear. You have a bottom section that has crates as well, which brings us to Birdly. What even is the fastest route to break 75 crates? Now, I do have to give you a warning. This upcoming section is a giant skill issue. I'll cope, sieve, mauled, inhale copium, have no riz, no skibbity. I think you get the point. Over imaginary points in a 20-something-year-old children's game. This, unlike the Looney Lagoon minigame, has no user-made video showcasing their attempt to get the achievement, so I could get at least some sense of what to use for my own route, which is a shame. I really miss the epically epic music. And there is no discussion of this achievement whatsoever, so no one talked about it, no one shared anything on it, meaning I had to find the fastest route myself. I know, I seem really entitled and bitchy right now, but I didn't have a problem with that. Throw the hardest achievements at me with no help whatsoever, and I'll be able to get them. I have no issue with routing hard achievements. Sure, I'll go insane along the way, but my spiral into insanity makes for some great content. The thing is though, here I was just lost. No matter which route I took, if I stayed on the upper portion of the level, or if I went downwards, or something completely different, I could barely get to 60 crates. And honestly, after 30 minutes of attempts, I gave up. You might think, why not watch CycloneFN's tutorials? But for the crate smashing minigames, they only showcase how to break the intended goal the fastest way possible. So, 40 crates. Speaking of them, as my last resort, I commented on their tutorial of this exact minigame, just asking for help. And do you want to know what they said? First off, they did tell me the route, but they also additionally added 75 is a bit high, but not too crazy. And if a person who has been speedrunning this game for over a decade, Christ, you're old, says that the requirement is a bit of a high number, I personally think the achievement should be altered a little bit. But hey, like I said, I'm getting heated around imaginary internet points. And of course, with all of these videos, I mean no ill intent towards the achievement creators. The fact that a set of my all-time childhood favorite game exists is awesome, and I appreciate every single one of them for taking the time out of their day to work on this. Anyway, this is the route they told me to use. Destroy some boxes around the starting area, spin down to red 7, destroy some there, spin down, and you'll respawn at red 8, and destroy pretty much all of them there. Red 8 is where most boxes are, so skip any slow ones earlier so you can maximize the boxes you destroy there. And before you call me schizophrenic, the red 8 and red 7 refers to the floors of the minigame, red 7 being the lower portion, while Red 8 is the upper portion of the level. With their help, this is the route that I took. At the start, I would immediately go down to the elevator and destroy as many boxes as I could. The more, the merrier. Spin down to Red 7 and then rush to the other side, while of course destroying every box in my path. Then I would fall and send Taz to Purgatory, as this for some reason respawns him at the top of the scaffolding, and from there I would destroy basically every box here. Then I would pray to God that I would have enough time so I could destroy the remaining crates I needed in this part here. So, with a strategy down, it's time for another montage, cause I really cannot be bothered to go over the footage.
Pass ready.
Actually, wait. Let's go. Yo, that happened so randomly. With an hour of total attempts later, I finally got this achievement. I cannot explain to you how much of an adrenaline rush I had gotten. I never knew it would take this long to obtain it. My happiness and pride would be immediately in front of scaffolding, as the next thing I had to attempt was the boss. Why was I worried? Well, because I remember as a kid, it took me a month of attempts to beat the boss, so I didn't know what awaited me on the expert difficulty. For those unaware, Taz somehow escapes the police again and ends up in Gladiatoons, a show where you fight to death in a giant ball to satisfy the show producer's appetite for illegal cage fights. I mean, think about it, they're animals. You're up against Daffy, and you need to score more points than him by going over these light pods. And these balls, oh, sorry, huge spheres, they have controls. They certainly have controls. Imagine Super Monkey Ball, but remove the monkey's limbs and give them arthritis. These controls are ass. The ball just doesn't turn, which is bad in a boss fight where you have to go fast. And it is also bad because there's an achievement called High Roller, where you have to defeat Daffy without losing the lead after the timer goes below 130. I was ready to suffer similar consequences to the Bank of SAMERICA minigame, and I thought I was genuinely gonna spend a good hour on this stage simply because on my first attempt I failed the achievement. I wonder why. But on my next attempt, he was nowhere to be seen. He got stuck somewhere. Well, I'm not complaining. I would have gotten stuck, wondering if anything I do is even worth it if this achievement took me any longer. You can guess that I, in fact, got the High Roller achievement. With Daffy defeated, Taz gets captured? Thank God, bye! Ugh, I wish. Instead, we're off to the Wily West, arguably the best Looney Tunes rap artist, with my favorite song being Wile E. Coyote. I don't think you can say that word. Where, of course, Taz manages to escape because Sam clearly made the box of styrofoam, meaning there's 3 new levels, 3 more minigames, and 1 depressed Mashtempo. The first level here is Granny Canyon. Oh wow, a Wild West themed level, who would have known? This level is honestly kinda boring, genuinely. Before watching the footage again so I can script the video, I forgot that this level even existed. I didn't remember anything. Well, the beginning of the level isn't boring, but more so really evil. Please stop, you are hurting my feelings. But yeah, as good as this game is, it's really difficult to talk about it because, as you clearly saw, the levels kinda don't increase in difficulty. The catchers are insanely easy to defeat without getting caught, the wanted sides don't require much thought to destroying them, and they're literally laid out to you in the beginning of each level. It's the same case with the sandwiches too, although I guess in some cases they're somewhat difficult to find. And the Golden Sam statues literally make you flip a switch and go to the place that opened up. Talking about it is like watching a slug move. This only leaves us with the destruction bonus, and that's only hard because I somehow managed to play this game like a headless chicken. Funny I say that, actually, because in this level, I got the destruction bonus without looking up a guide. The 100 sandwiches gave me more trouble, and I can usually eat a sandwich pretty easily. The only reason as to why this sandwich was hard was because of this loop-de-loop at the beginning of the level. As you can see, you kinda can't make the loop by spinning, and honestly, I had no clue what you had to do, and was genuinely stumped. First off, let me show you this. What? I thought this was some kind of bug, and didn't even pay attention until I looked up a guide. And it turns out this right here is meant to be used as a catapult to actually get you for the loop-de-loop. I mean, I guess I can talk about how I somehow missed an Acme booth and had to cosplay Agent 47 and sneak past the catchers to get to one. To which the costume in this level is a cowboy. Oh wow, who could have known that too? That has the deadliest weapon a cowboy can holster. Absolutely nothing. But yeah, I'm sorry to any diehard Grand Canyon fans that have been waiting for me to talk about this level. Your level's boring. It's a really big piece of shit. Like a giant ass turd. Big poo. You might think how I'll eat up my words because I have to attempt the minigame, but to burst your bubble, surprisingly, no. You drive this rocket throughout the entire minigame, and it has no shortcuts to take. So getting I'm a Rocket Taz for beating it in 50 seconds or less took me 2 attempts. I literally got it in 3 minutes. Partly because of my first attempt, I met the rocket's biggest nemesis. 2 barrels. I was actually so fast with my second try that I got the 4th place on the Retro Achievement leaderboards. In fact, due to this time here, I am fairly confident I can get every Retro Achievement record in this game. You know what? If this video reached... Nope! Nah. I am not doing this again. I really do not want to spend 3 months making a singular video. 200 likes and I'll try speedrunning every level in the game. I did the same thing in Yosemite Zoo and didn't play the levels in the star order, since I wanted to keep the Wild West theme consistent because the second level isn't even remotely Wild West themed. So this means we move on to Cartoon Strip Mine, which is barely different from Grand Canyon when it comes to difficulty. Again, sorry to any hardcore Cartoon Strip Mine fans that have been waiting for this moment. Well, at least the Acme booth in this level transforms you into the legend himself, Indian Jonathan. He even does his famous thing, you know, the thing where he throws his hat to kill people and peeps on a construction worker showering a couple dozen feet into a strip mine, and also has a strong gravitational pull towards water since he seems he can't go a few seconds without drowning. Yeah, no, I have no clue why this wanted sign took me this long, but it's refreshing since it gave me some sort of challenge, unlike the water, which probably tastes like phlegm. As for the rest of the level, well, what do you want me to say? In a level where they have an entire ass section where you just spin for like a good minute before you arrive at the wanted sign. I mean, it's fun, but if the game doesn't know itself on what new stuff to introduce, how will I make this seem entertaining enough so you don't fall asleep and make a joke that isn't really going nowhere? Why do I hear boss music? Were you tired of me bitching about how the game is easy and how there's nothing interesting to talk about? Well, good! Now it's time for me to bitch about how hard this minecart section was for me. I honestly don't know why this part took me so much time. Sure, at first I missed some parts with destructible objects and sandwiches, but I failed intentionally so I could go back and collect them. But the rest? Dude, I didn't even try. What the f*** was that? I missed so many sandwiches, it's unironically insane how big the count was. Let's not even begin to mention this one. This one godforsaken sandwich made me miserable. I mean, it blends into the background. Of course I will miss it. Like, who thought it was a good idea to do this? Was it you, Indian Jonathan? Or was it your friend, Accountant Steve? And you wanna know what's worse? They thought that it was a good idea to add a section with branching paths. Not an issue, but you have like 30 different paths to take. Like, holy shit, why? This level took me almost an hour to 100%, and 50% of that time was spent on the singular minecart section. And for all that pain, I only get to break one wanted sign. So, thank you, Accountant Steve. The golden statue is, again, pressing a button to unlock the area where it's hidden. Heavy quotation marks on that. While both the destruction and sandwich bonus gave me some trouble. I was 99% through the destruction bonus, and I had collected 99 sandwiches, so there were like 2 objects and 1 sandwich that were really well hidden. As I explored the entire stage and was genuinely clueless. And, well, let's just go back to the beginning of the level. No, not near the beginning. At the actual beginning, where you spawn at. When you go near the spawn, the game will ask you if you want to leave the level. And if you select no and go a little bit forward, this happens. This is the only time this happens, and damn, I wish that wasn't the case. Oh yeah, speaking of the beginning of the level, that's where the remaining object and sandwich were hidden. So with 100% completion of the stage achieved, it's now time to move on to the minigame. And guess who's back? Back again. Hard achievements back. Tell your mom. No, really, wake her up. She really needs to see this. The cartoon strip mine minigame is actually a point-to-point time trial. You don't have labs, but you go from the starting point all the way to the end. And like the Granny Canyon minigame, you kinda don't have skips either. It's very linear. So you would think that beating it with at least 25 seconds for the bad tip as achievement would be easy. Yeah, somewhat. Okay, it didn't take me 3 minutes, a lot longer than that. Mostly because in this section here, before the drop on the bridge, you can go faster than a Formula 1 car. And it's very easy to either miss the checkpoint entirely, or just fall off and die. Oh, and also because of this skip here, you cannot go through the entire bridge. No, that's losing us precious seconds. Instead, you need to jump over the fence, land at like 2 pixels down in front of the fence so you can spin and successfully skip the entire bridge. This looks relatively easy, but the reason as to why I said that you have 2 pixels of space is because you can very easily miss it and turn Taz into a pancake. Oh look, it's Taz flattened. Also, the game really doesn't like you when you do this, so it's constantly trying to push you out, which can also ruin the run. And if you're lucky, you can potentially save yourself from falling down. But that won't be enough for the achievement though. You're too slow. Or you can blind yourself by setting off an explosion and then completely falling off the bridge, because Indian Jonathan apparently loves getting flashed. So yeah, with all of those issues combined, I managed to get the achievement in around 14 minutes. It's honestly somewhat forgiving. Well, in the same sense that going first in line while getting chopped by a guillotine is forgiving. This means we're moving on to the last level in Wally West. No, you still cannot say that word, you coyote. Taz... Haunted. What an appropriate level where the entire theme is the Wild West. In this level, you... Oh my, sorry. I think I'm getting kind of tired. Yeah, no, I still don't have anything interesting to talk about. The level design is sick and overall it looks cool, and you can turn into a... Oh my god. I can't control myself. So what if you could see the darkest side of me? No one would ever change this animal I have become. Oh! Hi there. Well, this is something. Why am I... Is that the ball from Glover? Well, this is neat. Except for the controls. How did you manage to make the ball feel like a truck with only 2 wheels? But, oh well, sorry to any hardcore Taz Haunted fans that wanted me to... Oh, and I just want to give a personal thank you to the game for having these knights here that, if they catch you, make you lose bounty. Yeah, I had to reset for this. Anyway, miniature game time. You have to break crates with a power-up that activates randomly. Neat. You could zoom at the XL Duracell battery that makes you burp, and you're tasked with destroying 45 crates. So naturally, for the Taz need to lay off the booze achievement, damn, didn't know bro was an alcoholic, all he's missing is a bar fight and a DUI. Anyway, you need to destroy 100 crates! Oh my, this is gonna be fun. Well, to my surprise, this one was actually the easiest box-breaking minigame. Thank God. The strategy is to go to the top of the tree and destroy every crate there to get the achievement. It's not hard, but the burps that actually push you up happen randomly and don't stop when you're spinning. So you could be breaking crates, and suddenly, Taz has thoughts of beating up his wife. And when I say easy, I really do mean easy. It took me 6 minutes to get the achievement. What an amazing end though, because I am officially done with every single minigame. Therefore, I got every single minigame achievement. This means that we can now finally face Yosemite Sam and end this mayhem once and for all. And say, how do we fight him exactly? By playing Discount Bomberman, naturally. So we can turn Yosemite Sam into Yosemite Toast. Yeah, that's the best I could come up with. Willy G. Wonkers, I have been turned into toast. I don't need to explain to you how the concept of Bomberman works, but yeah, throughout the boss fight, he throws dynamite that you have to use to destroy crates, so you can effectively troll Yosemite Toast over here. Hi, I am still Toast. Do that 4 times and you win. Naturally, because I have to suffer, you have the achievement Pesky Critter, where you have to beat the boss without getting hit. You might think that this would be easy, as it takes him like 3 hours to throw these glue sticks, like, just avoid them. But with each box of fireworks destroyed, the dynamites he throws detonate faster. And a reminder, since we are on expert difficulty, I know, it's hard to believe that, considering I literally just skipped the last level in Wily West. The time it takes for the dynamite to detonate is way faster compared to standard difficulty. By how much, you ask? Well, on standard difficulty, it takes 4.125 seconds for the first phase, 3.25 for the second, 2.375 for the third, and 1.5 seconds for the fourth and final phase. Meanwhile, on expert, it's 2.475 seconds for the first, 1.95 for the second, 1.425 for the third, and 0.9 seconds for the fourth phase. Are you awake? Good, because you have less than a second to dodge the dynamites. And yes, you're right. The hitless achievement went as smooth as a log of wood. During my attempts, I started wondering what would happen if I put this fork in an electrical outlet. Jesus Christ, is that the only metaphor you can use, bro? It was hard, okay? To be fair, I was doing this achievement at 2 in the morning, so my brain activity was basically a small flea flying around my head, meaning that any critical thinking had been reduced to ooga booga, go forward to win boss fight. The dynamites at the last 2 phases were just too fast for me to keep up with, as I couldn't really focus on the dynamite that had just been thrown, along with the dynamite that was about to explode. And Christ, I couldn't even get past the second crate at the start of the fight. Yeah, just take your time. I have all day. Totally don't need to wash my dog, walk the dishes, eat the kitchen, and clean the dinner. I totally can't wait. Just destroy the crate, Taz! Please! Please! I mean, I am the same guy that struggled with a slide puzzle, so I'm not sure why you're surprised that I suck. This just kept happening because I had been brute forcing the boss fight. I thought, yep, this is gonna take like a day to beat, until really late into my attempts, I realized, wait. Nothing's really stopping me from going to the last batch of fireworks first. Yeah, you're not required to destroy each batch in order, so what I did is I cleared out the path and started destroying the boxes from the ending first, and just made my way back to destroy the remaining firework crates. Even with this strategy, I somehow still had issues. I literally had to go forward. How does this even happen? But at least I got the achievement in like 10 minutes with this method. It's now 30 minutes worth of attempts where I made it halfway through the fight only to be cocked by the dynamite. With Yosemite Sam defeated, he escapes, causing an explosion that makes Taz traverse like 30 different galaxies, making it all the way to Earth. So wait, on what planet did the last 3 hub worlds take place in then? And this means we can enter the last level of the game, which actually offers a challenge. Oh my god, I can actually talk about this level. I really can't believe this. Yeah, I was actually really surprised that they upped the difficulty here. What I like about this level is that it's very linear. For most of the playtime, you have one path, and at the end, it only branches into 2 paths you can take. I dig this a lot, honestly, because I feel like this made it easier for the developers to make something difficult, since you only have one path. Therefore, you kinda can't cheese every wanted side. Like at the beginning of the level, you have this tree section with really strict timing on the blue boxes. It actually surprised me the first time I experienced this, and it took me a couple of attempts to destroy it. Also, when you reach the top, you have this really fun section that leads you to the first wanted side, where you have to avoid these excavators while Nothing by No One plays in the background. It's actually pretty neat, and just like the blue box, I didn't get past this section on my first try either. Oh yeah, for the last, and therefore... What? I wrote, for the last and therefore last costume in the game. This is what you should proofread your scripts, guys. Oh yeah, for the last costume in the game, Taz transforms into Grug, and for his special ability, he spawns an elephant to sit on you. I believe some people are into this. Oh, here we go again with the wanted signs that make no sense. Why did you paint it on a giant ass egg? Also, doesn't me releasing the bird only draw more attention towards Taz? I also think Sam had a message in the level. If you go to one of the trees, it says, I see UP. How could you, Sam? Haha, I see you pee. But yeah, until there, the rest of the level wasn't all that easy either. And to not repeat myself, just like with the beginning portion, it offered hard platforming that made destroying the wanted signs way more fun, since my brain didn't turn autopilot on and whizzed past everything. This level also has the hardest to reach sandwich in the game. Like, it took me 4 attempts to get this because the geometry it just doesn't, okay? But with 100%ing the level, we get the last 2 capture achievements, the last sandwich and destruction bonus achievements, and the last golden Sam statue achievement too, which was actually challenging as well, since I didn't know how to get to it at all. I think you have to spin your way to it, but honestly, seeing as how easily you can fall off these trees, I kinda don't think this is the way to do it. With all of this completed, we can now face the final boss of the game, Yosemite Sam again. Yay! Honestly, my man is looking very dapper. I really like his outfit. It feels like he's the star of the hit game Mafia. Haha, I will kill you. This boss is... I honestly have no idea. I spawned in, hit him 6 times, and I won. Yeah, no, I got the hitless achievement to my first try. And to be honest, I have no clue how I did it. I think he walks in the opposite direction to where you're heading, and you have to bait him into jumping onto the switch. I honestly have no idea. Well, I don't care. I am finally done with the game. The ending is a little bit anticlimactic, but he escaped again. Thankfully, we did manage to follow him to his blimp, so I guess this means we're facing him for the 3rd time. I mean, sure, I don't mind it, but it's kinda weird to fight him this many times. Twitter? This is probably the best plot twist in any video game I ever played. The final boss fight in Taz Wanted is Tweety, the same character that has helped you for the entirety of the game, but now he is in a Gundam. And how's the boss? Painful. I mean, the stage is called the Hindenbird. It was immediately gonna be a disaster from the start. I don't even need to mention that this fight is a hitless achievement. Wait, I did. Fuck. So what I did is I attempted to beat it without taking damage while playing the boss fight for the first time. This was totally a great idea, as this is probably one of the hardest hitless achievements I ever attempted, right up with the Carrot Factory and Planet X-File hitless achievements in Lost in Time. And that's saying something, because in one of them, the achievement is based on RNG factors of the boss fight. The Hindenbird is divided into 3 phases, with the first one being so easy that I can sum it up in 1 sentence. You throw boxes at her. You have to eat them and just throw them at him, and that's it. Oh yeah, you can eat objects in this game. I never mentioned this because I never used it up until now. Whoops. After hitting him a couple of times, she teleports 3 feet in front of him, and so we begin phase 2. This is probably one of the most poorly designed phases in the history of phases, and trust me, I know what menstrual cycle is. The boxes return, and this time you have to throw them at... The thing is, you have no sense of depth here, and you can easily miss the coil. You have to stand at the right place, and be pointed at the right position to hit them. What's worse is that you need to hit each coil 2 times, and every time I missed one, I felt that shit redirect and hit my soul. So yeah, most of the time I was trying to calculate the optimal launch angle, the exact trajectory arc, and the required impulse force, all just to throw a crate like 2 feet in front of me. Or you can just take all of your anger on Tweety. Yeah, that's a possibility too. Speaking of her, the way Tweety works here is when the coil goes up, he throws attacks in your general direction. She does that 4 times before putting the coils down, and keeps repeating the process until you eventually beat this phase. The thing is though, if you take too long, and by too long I mean like 2 seconds, you're gonna get hit. Or here, where I guess I took too long. Seriously, Tweety, why are you tweaking? The attack is very easy to avoid, don't get me wrong, but when you're trying to destroy a coil, you literally need to throw the box as soon as they appear, otherwise he zaps your gonads. So yeah, this was very hard to beat without getting hit. The 3rd and final phase of the fight is... as bad as the second phase. That's really something that I needed to hear, considering it took me half an hour to get here. You have these 4 switches that activate the door to the blimp, and you can't just hit them whenever you want. You have a pattern. And what is that pattern, you may ask? It's random. Every time you enter this boss fight, the correct pattern is different. And of course, you are timed, meaning if you don't figure it out immediately, the switch is reset. While this is not an issue per se, it's the missiles that Tweety throws at you. They travel. Yeah, they travel. They for sure travel. Again, there's an issue with depth perception, as the entire time I couldn't tell how fast they were going, how far they were before they approached me, and honestly, I couldn't even tell you the trajectory of these missiles, even if you threatened to choke me to death. But I would keep quiet either way because I like this. So, yeah, on top of me trying to not get zapped 0.3 seconds into the second phase of the fight, I also had to avoid the rockets whose trajectory I didn't even know. And I still don't. My ass used luck only to get past this. These attempts dragged on for over an hour, but I refused to give up simply because I knew I could beat this hit list. All I needed was luck. I mean, 99% of gamblers quit before they hit big. Eventually, after wanting to use Tweety's arms to gouge my eyes out so I didn't have to look at him anymore, I hit her with the crates, destroyed every coil without getting hit flawlessly, made it to the 3rd phase for like the 10th time, and...
Enough already. Let's finish this.
I actually did it! Oh my god! I never thought I would be shaking because of a Looney Tunes game, but here we are. After almost an hour and 10 minutes of attempts, I beat Tweety without getting hit. And we officially beat the game, rescued She-Devil, and finally mastered TAZLAND on the PlayStation 2. I had a lot of fun playing this game, and 100%ing it for the first time ever, while also collecting achievements was great. I can't lie, especially in the first hub world, I was blasted with nostalgia, which surprisingly gave me a good amount of motivation to master the game. As for the sets, I mean... it's okay, it does its job quite well, and the introduction of expert difficulty was a neat addition. I think this is the best way to play the game, especially if it's your first time experiencing it. To be honest, considering how broken the game can be at some points, I think some more additions like the no monkeying around achievement would have been great. But I am the last person who should be suggesting this, because I have no idea what you could even do besides 100%ing the levels on expert. My biggest gripe with the sets are the minigame achievements. I am of the opinion that sets should make me learn something new about the game, and therefore improve my skill and knowledge of it. Which the minigame achievements do that, don't get me wrong, but I don't think getting near perfect times for them is the way to go. I believe if you lowered the time trial minigames by a second or so, and the box breaking minigames by like 5 crates, that they would be way more doable and fun. Not saying that they weren't, it's just, the Bank of SAMERICA minigame achievement. Again, I don't mean to disrespect the achievement creator. Like I said, I am extremely happy that this game has a set in the first place, and considering how repetitive the gameplay loop is, they did a great job. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like and subscribe, and check out my coffee if you have a buck to spare. If you want to see more frequent updates, follow me on Blue Sky, and of course, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. The fact that so many people decided to take their time out of their day to watch me ramble about retro games and subscribe means a lot to me. Although, I do have an announcement to make, and it's that the next video will not be about retro achievements. I know, how could I? And that I'm trying to incorporate more non-retro achievement games into this channel. I have some ideas that are as long as this video, but I'm not sure if I'll work on them anytime soon. They're really big projects. Oh yeah, I might also stream some sets on Twitch. Don't worry though, I will keep you updated on my community tab and on Blue Sky. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Anyway, let me actually try to end the video normally. I've been Mashtempo, and you were watching a Mashtempo production. See you on the flip side.